Hey guys, here with another vid. This is a little special because the game is starting to look like a game. I've added a bunch of new stuff. Animations, models, fixed some of the enemy logic since I was having issues. Now let's play test this to show some of the enemy logic. So right now these enemies have about 270 degrees of awareness and are basically set up to patrol the halls. I might have to rebake the nav mesh as I've added just minor obstacles as window dressing but gave them all box colliders. Right now the enemy eye isn't smart enough to navigate around objects yet, but they will follow the player if they see the player. So this is the level. I'm not sure what I wanted the design to be a lot of corridors, hallways, rooms that will all be filled later, but it is an area where the player can take multiple routes to the exit, wherever that is going to be. I guess this will end up being my demo level when I'm finished, although I'm still not sure 100% of the layout. Some of these narrow areas, I experimented with camera states. Basically, it's just a code that tells the camera to do something, and you may see it in games like The Last of Us, or in Tomb Raider when a character has to squeeze through an area or something. Or there may be a boss fight and the camera dynamically changes. This was a trick they did a lot in Nier Automata when they would go from the classic 3D space to the side-scroller. I might try that in the future after this level. So let's load up the playtest. So as you can see, I did a few changes with some of the shaders, and unironically, I kind of like it a little more than the flexible cartoon shader I was using before. It looks a little worse maybe, but in a more PlayStation 2 era kind of way. This is using the standard shader, and it kind of reminds me of Metal Gear Solid 2. The lighting is super impactful here, and the other thing I managed to do was fix the animation to use the classic two-handed pistol grip. So these weapons are the default weapons for this controller. I'll switch them eventually, but they're okay for gameplay purposes. Yeah, I forgot that guy was patrolling this area. But as you can see, he's pretty deadly. One thing I have to add yet will be wall cover areas where essentially you can have the player post up on the wall like Splinter Cell and then lean out to fire. I kind of like the difficulty as it stands, although I might give the enemies some more health. So as you can see, I've added a lot more of the material textures to the walls. There is a slight bug with the particle effects of the weapon. The smoke is causing a bit of FPS issues, so I'll have to fix that, especially with extended fights and whatnot. Also, another thing I added was dynamic physics for the hair. I can also use this for clothes or capes or anything like that. I used a plugin called Easy Softbone on the Unity Asset Store, which is free and super simple to use. Basically, it sets up the physics on the mesh, automatically allowing this free-flowing dynamic movement. Once it's set up, you can just attach the rigged mesh to wherever you want on the character, and as long as it's on the player model, it will follow the character with no issue. So this is the camera state area I was mentioning. Theoretically, if I want to do a Silent Hill style camera switch, or Resident Evil style, I can do that with these camera states for dramatic effect. This is some industrial room, but this is basically the first time I've played with stairs, and after much deliberation I found simply using box colliders for ramps is probably my best bet than each individual stair having a collision mesh associated with it. AAA games can do that, but for this, my focus is on gameplay and fun. Once up to the second floor, I want to be sort of a firefight action area. Supposedly this controller has an option for bullet time, although I haven't integrated it yet. It might be interesting to try. But yeah, this is what exists so far. I have to finish the rest of the ground level, and I'm not sure that I'm going to keep that large open area there. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.